morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Wednesday the 30th of April. It is the last day of the month, so that could be interesting to see where we end. It's usually Friday where we have a weekly close that is the most interesting one, but monthly closes are also, but weekly a little bit more. We in this educational video, there is no recommendation or advice whatsoever. It is for educational purposes only. So let's get cracking here and let's have a look at Novo Nordisk that lost more than 60% since its peak. We have talked about it many times before, but now it seems like buyers are slowly coming back in, lifting it a little bit, just above 365 support here. That goes back to 2022. If it takes out the lows here at 380, well, then 365 could be tested or also to be taken out. So please keep that in mind. But here on daily chart, we can see that there is divergence on the RSI. You can see the RSI values, they are rising. At market price went on, the share price went lower, so now it seems to be bouncing. And if it starts trading, not starts, but if it closes above 462 and 465 in this area here, and taking out this little top there, then it could establish a bullish trend. But still, we are negative sentiment, but it seems like downtrend exhaustion mode. And if we're looking at what happened on the US one last night, it also went up. It went up by about 4% in the ADRs in New York trading. And if it moves above, closes above 66.75, it has also established a bullish trend. It just needs confirmation of the RSI to close above 60 threshold. If we move on to the US market in general, we had S&P 500 crawling higher, still negative sentiment on the RSI, but trust the trends, higher high, higher low, and now higher high. There is now potential above 5,600, 5,700 maybe, and then we have the strong resistance up here just around, just below 5,800. So that should be, keep an eye on that. If it starts sliding back below 5,490, downtrend could resume, and that will be key to watch out for what's going on with the RSI. Pre-market, we are down a little bit, so not much to talk about. Nasdaq 100 also still negative sentiment on the RSI, but getting closer to 60 threshold, and there's some resistance here at 19,707. If it breaks above that, close above, then there's potential to 20,292, where we have a stronger support, resistance. We have the 55 moving average coming down here, and the 200 also will kind of putting a lid on it, and the 100 also moving down here. So that would be a really strong resistance. But again, RSI could be key for that. Pre-market, as we can see, the pre-market, where was it? There we are, sorry. Also pushing a little bit higher, but pre-market a little bit slow, and also 60 threshold has been broken there. Dow Jones Index, well, had a fairly good day yesterday, but still strong resistance in this gap area here. You can see this gap where it gapped down. That would be key, 40,986, 41,382, and the RSI is still negative sentiment. So if it can't break that, then it could be a bit of a trouble. But slowly getting back into some positivity in the market. EuroStoxx50 stalling a little bit yesterday. Here pre-market, it is unchanged. Strong resistance at 5,228, and RSI is still below 60 threshold. Maybe we will have a little bit of a setback, also struggling with the 100 moving average, so we could see a little bit of a setback before maybe we'll try again. The DAX index, the RSI on the DAX index is actually currently very close to the 60 threshold. And if it closes above that, well, then there could be further upside potential above the cloud, above 23,000. Then suddenly we are back in the previous peak area. If it's being rejected, Also here we could see a little bit of a setback pre-market, while it is also testing here. You can see the RSI testing, and but market crawling higher. So the next 2 days could be quite interesting. Euro dollar basically just trading sideways in this range here between 115.75 and 112.40. I still believe it could test 112.40, where we have some strong support. If it's breaking that, well, then there's potential down to 110.55 to 61.8 retracement. But for now, there's a little bit of calm, and this is the key level to watch out for. The sterling dollar cable is stalling a little bit, and it comes back from this peak over here. So once again, it has been testing it. If it takes out 132.30, well, then we could see a bigger decline or bigger correction. And let's see here where we got it. Adding Fibonacci, as you can also do, then we could be looking at 131, 130. If it breaks above, if it really takes it out, I mean, yeah, it closed above, but you know, it's just marginal. If it really pushes higher, then we're looking at 136, 137. Euro sterling, very close to be testing the 61.8 retracement at 84.77, and the support here. It could still do that, then I think it will bounce and then bounce back. If it takes out 84.60, well, then there's further downside potential to 84, but I think we will be bouncing there. Yen pairs and dollar yen. Let's zoom in a little bit. Its correction went almost up, very close to the 38.2 retracement at 144.20, 21. Could resume downtrend, still negative sentiment, no divergence on the RSI. You see this RSI value there is the lowest one, so that belongs to this sell-off candle there, this bearish candle. So if it takes out the low from a couple of weeks ago at 139.88, then expect a push down to 137. But we could still see a push higher, a correction higher. If it takes out the peak there at 144 and a change, well, then maybe we will see it up to 146.50, 146.85. Euro yen still in this big range here, so I've been talking about it so much, and now you can see the 55 coming up, the 100 moving coming up, and also the 200 starting slowly to flatten here. So it's really some strong support in this region here, and I think it slowly will crawl higher. The Aussie yen, well, really hard to read at the moment. I will remove this one. Yes, I know it did crawl around it, but I will add a Fibonacci instead and see if that actually gives me something. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. Yeah, it actually reached 61.8 retracement and 92 and a bit. And if it takes out the peak here from the past few days, the peak here at 92.17, then I think we'll see a push up to the 786 retracement at 93.67, and also testing the falling trend line there. If it takes out on the downside 89.60, then downtrend is resuming. Sterling yen crawling higher. It actually reached the 61.8, could reach higher. If it takes out 192, well, then there could be potential higher to 193.5. However, still negative sentiment on the RSI and the 200 and the 100 coming down there, and we also have the cloud resistance, so that will be a bit of a struggle to push higher, but it's not unlikely. If it slides back below 190, then downtrend is likely to resume. Aussie dollar still dancing sideways in this range here. I still believe there's potential up to 65 and a half. We have the 55 moving average coming up. We have the 21, as you can see, it's the orange one here. We have the 100, so giving some support, base support here, so to speak. There's a minor support here at 63.40. If it takes out that, well, then we could be dipping down to 62.5, but I'm not quite sure that will play out. I think we will slowly crawl higher. Dollar Canada, also very calm. Still 137.80. If it takes out that, then we're looking at 136.5. There should still be a bouncing possibility up to a potential up to 140, maybe 140.70. And sterling Canada, excuse me, very few pips from 786 retracement at 186.8, sorry. And stalling a little bit. RSI rejected 60 threshold. It needs to close above, and if it does, then there's potential high. But we do have a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher low. So we do have a bullish trend, and it could and should push higher. Just need confirmation from the RSI to close above 60 threshold. Then it's confirmed it will also push higher towards 188. Euro Swiss, well, it got rejected there at the 55 moving average. Seems to be resuming downtrend, and I think it will. And if it takes out the lows here from the past few days, this region here around 93.60, then downtrend is likely resuming. And what you can also do here, then you can also add a Fibonacci to this uptrend here. Let's do it again. Sorry about that. There you go. Reach the 38.2 at 93.60. If it takes out that, then we're looking 93 at 61.8 retracement, possibly lower, and downtrend will have resumed. If it takes out 94.50 here, well, then uptrend, the bounce will continue higher to 95 and possibly higher. Dollar Swiss, well, a lot of volatility here the past start of the week. And that is the range that needs to break out. If it takes out the peak here at 83.35, then I think we'll see a push higher and a bigger correction towards 85.40. If it takes out the lows, well, then a new low around 79 is in the cards. And almost the same picture on the dollar index. Strong resistance up here at 100.32. This gap area here up to 100.74. If it takes out the low 97.69, well, what are we looking at? Then we're looking at 96.97 level. Gold, well, still fairly calm. 32.60 support. If it takes out that, then a likely sell-off down to 3,164.65. And if we do get a negative or bearish week this week, then we have a really strong chop and reversal pattern in place, and it could be a larger correction. But for now, we had this shooting star here from last week, so that's really key. The silver, well, it's also stalling a little bit. RSI didn't close above 60 threshold, so we could see it set back. If it takes out $32, we could see it dropping back to 31. We are still in a bullish trend, but it needs confirmation by RSI closing above 60 threshold. On copper, started the day today with a bit of a sell-off. If it takes out with actually testing now 473. Then we could see a push lower too, and let's just add the this one here. There we are. So we could see a push down to 460, maybe down to 450. Still negative sentiment on the RSI, never closed above 60 threshold, indicating we could see copper to turn around in a correction, maybe resuming downtrend. Crude oil has resumed downtrend and is likely to push lower towards previous lows at 55. Here I will also add a Fibonacci to this bouncing mode there. 61.8 retracement at 58.84 is likely to be tested. I also think we'll drop down to around 57.25. The Brent Crude oil futures also confirmed the bearish trend resuming, and likely to drop back to previous lows. And let's see here, there we are, 62.30 at 61.8 retracement is likely to be tested fairly soon. I think we'll push lower towards previous lows, and if it takes out the previous lows there at 58.40, well, then we are back towards 55.54. The European gas still crawling a little bit lower, bouncing a little bit today, but there's potential down to 32 euros. US nat gas hovering around the 38.2 retracement at 339. If it takes out the spike from yesterday, then I think we'll see a push up to 61 at 372. But you can see There's a little bit of overhead resistance, still negative sentiment. I actually think it will sliding back here the next few days. Yields and US 10-year Treasury yields sliding lower, and I think we'll see it testing the 61.8 retracement at 4.11 fairly soon, before the end of the week possibly. If it takes out 4.10, well, then we could be looking at 4%. The 2-year already moving lower, and let's remove this one, and we can see that we are at the 61.8 retracement at 360. I think we could see it down to 350. On the European yields, they are a little bit more calm. We have the European 10-year hovering around the 250 level at the moment. I think it will bounce and crawl towards the, well, maybe not, but if it takes out the 253, then we could see it at 260. But if it takes out the lows here, and the low here is at 244, if it takes out that, then we'll look at 237, 232. If it should follow the American yields lower, then we are in for a lower level, and we are negative sentiment on the RSI, and indicating we will see lower levels on the European ones. Also here on the UK, sliding lower, and we could see it test the 438 lows here. There's a little bit of support here at 440, but negative sentiment, and I think that will continue. Bitcoin still struggling with the 95,130 resistance. I think it will crawl higher, but it just needs something to push higher. If it takes out that spike up there, then I think it will move up. 96,000, just below 96,000, then we're looking at 100,000 once again. Ethereum just trading sideways, really. Can't really get away from the 55 moving average there, so maybe it needs a few more days before it possibly can crawl higher. Some support here at 1755 still, so that's what's keeping it sideways at the moment. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day. Talk to you again tomorrow.